This song, which was supposed to be a new beginning for a 40-year-old family man who had already established himself as a music legend, was released on October 24, 1980, and it went on to become the most popular song in the world after John Lennon passed away. The uplifting piece, which was full of hope and promise, was a new beginning for John Lennon, who had effectively retired from the life of a rock star after his 1975 covers album Rocknroll. Lennon had taken a 5-year vacation after producing the album. John Lennon's final single, which was released on December 8, 1980, before he was murdered by Mark David Chapman outside of the Dakota, which was his apartment complex located in Central Park West. John Lennon, 1980 playlist, who mentions that a sailing vacation from Newport, Rhode Island, to Bermuda in June of 1980 was influential in reviving the creative process of the Beatles. An ancient spark had been rekindled in him. It is true that this was a time of regeneration and renewal for John Lennon. In the album Double Fantasy, which he and his wife Yoko Ono had collaborated on, he was enjoying the joys of motherhood and domestic bliss. The record was released just 3 weeks before he was murdered. A lot was riding on Just Like Starting Over because it was the first single from that album. As the rehearsal sessions for Double Fantasy with producer Jack Douglas came to a close, however, the cheerful track, which was a combination of 3 prior demos of songs by John Lennon, was received. Lennon, it should be noted, had the goal of reaching the top of the pop charts in his mind. Despite the fact that he had made a number of criticisms directed at Paul McCartney for penning songs about his happy wife and fatherhood, John McCartney's words were ultimately the most important thing. There is no doubt that the lyrics express a desire to rekindle a love relationship with Ono approximately 5 years after they had become parents to their son Sean. In addition to the fact that John Lennon sings, "Let's take a chance and fly away somewhere alone," English mentioned that at the very conclusion of the song, you can hear an announcement about an airport trip that is featured in here. This song is a musical tribute to the musicians of the 1950s who served as a source of inspiration for John Lennon prior to his joining the Beatles. These musicians include Elvis Presley, Roy Orbison, Eddie Cochran, and Buddy Holly. The death of John Lennon would have been a dreadful event at any time and under any circumstances. But the fact that he passed away in such a brutal manner shortly after re-entering the public eye after a hiatus of 5 years was particularly cruel. It is the song that serves as the entry point for the new era of John Lennon that we are entering at that moment in time, when we consider the legacy of the single and its position among Lennon's solo work 40 years later. To our great regret, it is only able to live that life.